What's going on, guys? Shonen Express here, delivering to you my special delivery of the series review of Bakuman, written by Tsugumi Oba and illustrated by Takeshi Obata. The first major component that helps this manga work is the characterization that we see throughout this manga. Obviously, the main characters are done really well, but it doesn't stop there. Almost all of the side characters get impressive developments. There are three characters that I think demonstrate this fact extremely well. The first character is Iwase. She shows that there is no character wasted in this manga. Originally, she was simply a very intelligent classmate of our main characters, which later turns out to be a rival who is competing against them. I think it's amazing that this manga doesn't let you forget characters like Iwase, who was a character that definitely could have been thrown away and forgotten about, but instead, she was made to be a rival for our main characters. The second example of unique characterization in this manga is with Nakai. Nakai shows us a real character. Most of us have met someone like him in real life, and that's because Nakai is a real character. He is someone who displays not just good or bad, but a varying state of morality, from being genuinely concerned about Aoki and wanting to work with her to accomplish great things, to being obsessed with women just generally. We see him fall, but he still is not considered evil. There are many people like this in real life, and I think it shows a great deal of skill in characterizing to be able to show this level of variance in a single character. The final character that needs to be mentioned is Nanamine. Given the nature of this manga, I figured that it would be very hard to write an outright villain, as it's not very common in a business setting to have an active antagonist. However, amazingly, this manga accomplishes even that. Nanamine is an exceptional villain. I think it's super interesting that his method is the evil that must be defeated by our main characters. His presence in this manga makes this maybe one of the most unconventional battle manga that I have read to date. The next necessary topic for discussion has got to be the art. As I described in my review of Robot X Laserbeam, I personally prefer art that is more realistic and detailed. Bakuman doesn't necessarily have that kind of art, however, I think that the style it does have fits the manga perfectly. Not only is Obata able to convey the characters in this manga accurately and with great emotional expression, but because this is a manga about writing manga, he also needs to draw in other styles as well. I think he does this wonderfully. Some of my favorite pieces of this series are ones that just look really great. Series like Zombie Gun look amazing and very similar to Shonen series, whereas Otter's 11 gives off the impression of a gag manga very well. Not to mention the amazing detail put in a series like Reverse Eye. All in all, seeing the ability that Obata has to draw different styles of manga entirely is extremely impressive. All of that said, we can't forget what the theme of this manga is. At the end of the day, Bakuman is a manga about writing manga. That alone is not super interesting. As someone who has read manga for well over half of my life, I have always found stories that manga has been able to produce very interesting. But to have one of those stories centered around the act of creating a manga itself for years sounded boring to me. I stayed away from this manga through most of my childhood, specifically because I didn't find the theme enticing. It's spectacular that these two mangaka are able to write and illustrate a story like this and make it extremely interesting. Not only that, but I think that as a lifelong manga reader, Bakuman taught me a lot about how these stories that I love so much are produced. After reading this manga, I consider an absolute success and brilliant idea to make the theme of this manga what it is. Another pro that we need to discuss is the ending. This manga builds up one specific ending and fulfills on it in an amazing way. I was biting my nails, genuinely not sure if things were going to work up until the very last chapter. I think that it is amazing that this manga is able to keep you interested in the love story that it is. I think there is no more perfect way to end this manga than the way that it did with the final panel, which brought me an immense amount of happiness. The only negative aspect that I can say towards this manga is occasionally I think that there are pacing problems. Now again, this is not frequent, but occasionally I found myself ready to move on to the next arc before we got there. There are times where it feels like what's currently happening in the story is pointless, and I think that this could be a turnoff for a lot of people. Now, I think that this feeling of uselessness is intentionally put there by the author. This almost always happens in times where our main characters are frustrated with their inability to come up with a good story. Thus, I believe that Oba wants us to feel the same frustration. Unfortunately, this led me to getting bored at some points, and I could see some people dropping the manga specifically because of these moments. Ending on a high note, however, the last pro for this manga is the inspiration that it gives. I wanted to make YouTube videos for a while, but never thought that it was worth it or that I could do it. If you are a creative person and you want to make something, I would strongly encourage you to read this manga. One of the main reasons that I decided to start this YouTube channel was because I read this manga. The way that Mashiro and Tagaki look at their manga is the way I want to look at my videos. I want to always be improving, and I want to find new and exciting ways to do the thing that I love. All of that being said, this manga provided me with the inspiration to do what I wanted and create something that I could be proud of, and that's certainly worth the time that I spent reading this manga. All that being said, the score for this manga at the end of the day was an even 9. This manga did almost everything right, and the only small problem that I had was the occasional frustration in pacing. Thus, I think it's safe to say that Bakuman is certainly a manga that you should read, and one that I think most people, especially lovers of manga in general, will love. So, as you can definitely tell from the video, I really enjoyed this manga, so my half a point flavor rating is going to go up. So it's the final score for Bakuman is a 9.5 out of 10, almost a complete 10. Like I said in the video, I really love this manga, and I would definitely encourage you all to read it. But for now, that's all I have. If you like this manga or you don't like it, if you agree or disagree with anything I had to say, leave your comments down in the comment section below. I'd love to talk with you guys about that. Also, like and subscribe. I make manga reviews every single week, so I'd love for you to be one of my subscribers. But as for now, that's all. And this is Shonen Express, signing out.